You know what this is, man. This is UNRAP. We are back at it like crack addicts, like a motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? We got one of them bangers tonight. I'm telling you right now. We got
Yes, sir, indeed.
that hot fire, hot like fire.
For a few reasons.
In my Dylan voice, you know.
Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan.
I spit
In my
hot
Dylan
fire.
voice.
I
Hot like
spit
fire. I spit hot fire. We got hot fire tonight. Y'all understand that? We got hot fire tonight. But I ain't going to say nothing just yet. Let's just go ahead and just introduce our motherfucking selves. Let me just reintroduce myself, man. I am your boy, Heat Detector, in the building. And this is UNRAP. I said this is UNRAP. And we are back at it like crack addicts all day long. Let's go, baby. And you are my illustrious co-host.
I am the Nashvino.
All right. Again, zero energy, but it's cool.
I'm giving you what I got.
Yeah. And we also have our resident hacker. The engineer is in the building.
What it do?
All right, bro. Yeah. We'll get to all that. But you know. Hold on. Can I get a little? Yeah. You know what I'm gonna say, right?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
I'm excited as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I say that every show.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, I am excited as a motherfucker because tonight, you know what we got tonight? We got a legend.
We do. But what is tonight?
Tonight is also our 1 year anniversary of doing the show. Shout out to us for having 1 year. We just getting started. Come on, man. Stop playing with us. Yeah. So tonight we got a legend in this game. When I speak about legends, I speak about legends a lot. I talk a lot of shit. I say a lot of things, but this man is a legend in the game. And I don't think people really give him the credit that is fucking due.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like real credit of like
foundational,
a pioneer,
foundational credit.
Structure.
Yes.
You know, structural foundation of a lot of shit that motherfuckers are doing nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And well, shit. You know what? I'm my heart's pumping right now. I don't get gassed up over nobody.
Without further
motherfucking ado, we're just gonna go ahead and just do this, man. We got MASTA Ace goddamn building.
What's going on?
You see how I did that?
Welcome.
I see how you did it.
Welcome to the show, bro. We are
Appreciate it.
100% excited. At least I am. I can't speak for my co-host because a lot of time her testosterone and her estrogen and everything ain't working right. But me personally, I'm excited. Like, this is a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And just so we're clear, I mean, I know who you are. Everybody in this fucking studio knows who you are. But there are, believe it or not, there's some idiots out there that live under a rock, in cracks, in a hole somewhere in Pakistan or something that may or may not know who you are. So just give us a brief, tell the people who you are.
Oh, what's going on? MASTA Ace from Brooklyn, New York, originally member of the Juice Crew, member of the Cripplin' Dodgers, member of the group EMC, A&E with OG. I've done 30 plus years in the music game. My first album came out in 1990, and I've been doing it ever since. I appreciate you asking me to be on the show. And, you know, we can talk a little bit about the 50 years of hip hop and all that.
That's what's up.
Yes,
He said he appreciate us.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that?
That's
kind of a first, and I'm taken aback right now. You know what I'm saying? I might be feeling myself just a little bit.
Yeah, that's
you know
hip hop. This
Shout
hip
out,
hop
man.
royalty
This
right
is,
here.
This is all gratitude, 100%, man. It's a fucking honor. And you gotta excuse my mouth. I got kind of a foul ass mouth.
That's all right.
But I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best to keep it clean. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my best.
Be yourself, brother. Be yourself.
Yeah. Most definitely. So damn. I had all these questions and shit in my head, man. And I was just gonna be like, in my mind, like I was in the shower, like, oh, so how you doing this and how you been there? Now my brain is on some blank shit. You know, my shit is never blank.
Well, let's let you get your thoughts together.
All right, well, go ahead.
Just start from the beginning.
Marco Polo.
We got Marco Polo in the goddamn building. Let's get him in here and let's go ahead and talk about him right quick. Marco Polo is in the motherfucking building. Listen, we got a trooper. We got him on motherfucking twofer in the building. Y'all know what a twofer is, right? Yeah. That's a 2-for-1. You go to a brothel and that's a deal. That's a deal and a half. A brothel? A brothel. You go to a brothel, you get a twofer. That's like you doing it. We got a goddamn twofer in the building. Hey, so right now, if y'all just tuning in, or whoever tunes in later on, or whatever the fuck, we got Masta Ace in the building. We don't even need to explain that. We got Marco Polo in the building with Masta Ace. Come on with that goddamn twofer. Real quick, just in case, once again, Mr. Polo, sir.
What up?
There he is. Let these people know, because we know who you are. Let these people know who you are, just in case they're in Iraq somewhere and don't know jack shit about shit.
No problem. How's everybody doing? I go by the name of Marco Polo, producer, born in Toronto, Canada, and residing in Brooklyn, New York the last 20 years. Put out several projects, and currently on album number 2 with the legend Masta Ace.
That's what's happening. Can we get some? Yeah, that's what we need right now in the building. Which reminds me of my first question that I was thinking of. Okay, now I know. Well, I think I know. I know that you guys have worked together a lot. How did you guys actually link up, and like how did that happen? Because I know you guys are like pretty good friends and shit. You guys probably been working together for a decade, if not more. How did that come about?
I met Marco around 2003 when I was working on my A Long Hot Summer album. And I was working out of this studio called the Cutting Room. I went there to record a song with somebody. And when I was leaving, this little skinny white kid came up to me and said, "Yo, I do beats, and I got a CD. I want to give you my beats." And he gave me a CD. And I went home, listened. I used to listen to everything back then. So I probably listened to it in the car on the way home. I was like, "Yo, this kid actually, this drum program is kind of tight. I mess with this."
Right.
So I think there was an email address on the CD, written right on the CD. And I emailed him, and I was like, "Yo, I like a lot of these beats. Can you send me some more?" And he sent me another batch, and that was the beginning of the relationship, because I ended up picking something from that second batch of beats for my album, a joint called "Do It Man" featuring Rapper Noid. And then we did an exchange. He gave me that beat. In exchange for that, I rapped on a song for his album, Port Authority. I did a joint called Nostalgia, which was on his album. And that's how everything
Our biggest
began.
hit to this day, Nostalgia.
No shit. That's what's up. Let me ask this real quick. You didn't take offense to him like that? Seen this skinny little white boy hand me a tape. You didn't.
No, I'm from Canada. I have thick skin, and then I know Ace. So, and that's, I mean, emotions aside, that's factually true as a statement.
That's what's up.
Gotta respect that.
Yeah. So how long? So in years, not dog years. How many years y'all been working together?
Since 2003, I guess. We started recording probably doing Nostalgia, and then from there it's been on and off until we finally locked in and did these, the first album. So yeah, since. Was it so 20 years, Ace? That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's real
human
crazy.
person.
So you guys are beyond rapper producer relationship. You guys are actually like homies, friends, and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
No choice. We're like brothers. So.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
We typically don't get this deep this early on in the show, but I can't help it because this is hip hop royalty right now.
Yeah.
But like
both ways. But by the way, both ways.
Exactly. So considering this is the 50-year anniversary, some people have longevity in the game, but and this question is for both of y'all, do you actually feel your footprint in hip hop?
Yes, I do. I feel like I've been a part of some songs, some undeniably classic songs that will go down in history, and that can't ever be taken away, whether or not people have followed my solo album career, because I haven't been on the radio per se in many years, 20 years plus, 25 years probably.
Right.
And I know in American society, we judge success based on how much radio play and how many records you sell. But I'm fortunate that there's a whole world out there that's not the United States that actually appreciate the music that I've been doing for the last 30 plus years, and still come out to shows and pack arenas and come to see us perform these records. So yeah, in terms of the United States, you know, with my participation on the symphony and on Crooklyn, if nothing else, I've left my footprint with those two songs as far as the United States is concerned. And then beyond that, my solo stuff has definitely left a footprint around the world with the rest of the albums.
Well, you can't forget Born to Roll, because now, from my understanding, Born to Roll, like you had went to Cali for the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you know I'm not a historian on you per se, but like you had went to Cali and saw the car culture out there and was kind of like taken aback by the car culture out there, right? Is that kind of how it happened?
So I made a song called Cheap Ass Nigga, but that was really based on my love for sound systems. I just bought my first Jeep. I just got my first album deal, and I went out and bought a Chevy Blazer and put two 15s and two 12s.
God damn.
In the back, and I was driving around Brooklyn blasting all this music, and so I wanted to make a song about that culture.
Right.
And so I did the song Jeep Ass Nigga. But when I went out to LA for the first time, which was probably like later that year, I saw a whole different car culture that was happening out there with the cruising scene and you know, Crenshaw Boulevard. They took me to Crenshaw. They took me to Venice Beach. They took me to Hollywood Boulevard, and I got to see all of these different. I never saw Dayton's before. These different type of rims. Or we didn't have Dayton's back in New York. We didn't have we didn't lower our cars because New York
potholes wouldn't allow it.
Right. But to see the lowered cars, so it influenced me in a way that I realized, wow, this whole car culture thing is actually bigger than I realized. And if I take those same lyrics from Cheap Ass Nigga and repurpose them on a different beat that's more friendly to this side, maybe I can, you know, get a little fanfare on another part of the country. So I remixed Jeep Ass Nigga and did a joint called Born to Roll, and it wound up turning into one of my biggest singles ever.
That song in particular for lowriding culture in California, as I was born in Oakland, raised a little bit on the East Coast as well and in the South, but I can tell you right now, car culture in California, that shit comes on, especially lowrider shows and shit like that. They go absolutely fucking bonkers over that shit. Like that's amazing. That's a big song, especially in the lowrider car culture. Big song. We ain't forgot about you over there, Polo. Don't trip. We ain't forgot about you.
I was just about to say same question.
No, it's all. I apologize. I'm eating dinner too, so my bad.
Oh, no worries, man. This is an open forum, man. Eat dinner, smoke a blunt, do whatever you got to do. Shit. I'm still a little, you know. I normally don't be like this. Normally I'll be talking my ass off and saying all kinds of shit, but I got so many questions in my head right now and too much Starbucks that you know, there's a lot of shit going on in my head. It could happen. It happens. You know what I'm saying?
Tell us about your perception of your footprint, or what you feel, your impression, the impression that you.
Right. I started later in the game when it came to releasing projects. I feel like I have started to leave my footprint, specifically with my first album, Port Authority, in 2007. The joint me and Ace did on that album called Nostalgia definitely is my little claim to fame in the underground. The video is probably at about 11 million views now. That's
nothing to blink at.
No.
And even that album as a whole was a success for me. It was like the relaunch of Raucous. And then I've had definitely tons of albums after that, but it's really hard to say. It's like the people kind of decide when I meet them on the road, when me and Ace are on the road, and they tell me their experiences with my music. You know, I definitely have touched people's ears. Definitely a brand and a sound for myself, you know, before I even linked with Ace, and then us kind of linking together now is like the superpower. So
Wonder Twins.
Not the catalog that Ace has per se, but I've done a couple things I'm really proud of, and there's definitely more to come. So
that ain't nothing to shake a fucking stick at, like for real. Like my question that has been kind of going around in my head when I heard Certified is that How in the hell did you guys get Coast Contra on that?
That's you, Marco.
Yep, that was me. I was just up on them early on Instagram.
Yeah.
And one of the members, Reels, who's the Colombian, I don't know, out of the four.
Yeah. I'm very aware who they are. Yeah.
I just kind of felt like I had a connection to him because I go to Colombia like 3 times a year. That's like my spot. Like I'm always down there. When I need a break from music, I made lots of friends down there. I work with rappers from Colombia. So I just started hitting him up and just, giving him love for what the group was doing and props. And then we just kind of became cool. So I started sending them beats. They liked the beats. And we just started a little rapport back and forth. And then I guess we did the joint and wanted them. Whose idea was it to put them on it? Was it mine? Was it yours?
It was yours.
It was mine.
Yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful idea, by the way. Beautiful.
I mean, those guys are bananas. Like
Yeah.
there's not that many groups out right now. That's another thing too, right? I can't really name that many groups, and the energy they have, it just kind of reminds us. I don't want to say throwback. I hate that because they're definitely not throwback, but
Right.
got that good energy, like I'm on some like posse cut scenario, throw Coast Contra on it and they'll kill it. And and they actually kind of set it off with the verse, and then they kind of
Look, I was just going to allude to that. I don't mean to cut you off, but like I was talking to somebody today, and they're like, well, they hadn't heard the song yet, and they're like, they knew about Coast Contra, and then I was like, yeah, it's Master Ace's song though, and they're like, Master Ace, can he still hold his own? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like you know who you're talking about, right? You're talking about Master Ace. Like you might as well say Master Class because he's the Juice Crew with Big Daddy Kane and Cool G Rap and Craig G. Like, not saying that you didn't learn or that you knew everything or that you didn't learn anything from them or did learn. I don't know if I'm saying too much caffeine, but I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then when they heard the shit, they didn't even believe it was you on the first verse. They're like, that ain't Master. Get the fuck out of here. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, you slow because Master Ace could always spit. I don't know what you're talking about, but you can tell, you can definitely tell like you really holding your own with those young boys. You know what I'm saying? Young men, you know what I'm saying? Really holding your own with them.
There's a lot of people, the majority of the hip hop fan base has missed the boat on me, but that's all right. There's always another ship coming.
Yeah, and always.
For sure.
When one door closes, there's always one that's gonna open the fuck up, and that's some real shit. And Coast Contra, man, like I know people, and I myself have since pandemic have been trying to get them to do something. Like I've been reaching out to them, come on, just get please, and just sending emails and shit, but nothing. And I haven't seen them. I've only seen them do one song with someone else, and I'm like, in my mind, I was like, how in the fuck did they get them to do a fucking song? Because I hadn't, that's amazing.
It's all relationships.
Yeah, big facts.
Yeah, and so it's mutual respect there. I just like Marco, I've been following them and love what they do. And I was blown away that the two of them were Razzcaz's sons. I was amazed. Razzcaz a couple years ago.
Yeah,
so,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So me and Razzcaz collabed pretty recently, like for the last 3-4 years we did a joint together. So called Culture Vulture. So to have it kind of come full circle and now be on a joint with the sons was like, this is gonna be cool. And so I'm glad that Marco had that rapport with them so that we can make the song happen. And they made the song. Like they turned it into a song. It was just a verse and they turned it into a song.
That's what's happening. Well, shout out to Marco Polo. We get some, for having the foresight. That like having and I don't think a lot of producers really get the credit that's deserved for having that type of foresight and having an understanding, especially of artists, and you know what I mean, and putting certain things together. A lot of producers don't get that kind of credit. I understand that, know that because myself as a producer, or I ain't no Marco Polo, but I gets down. But
you do your thing.
I do a little something. But it's refreshing, to see and to hear like someone who really knows how to like put shit together and really have the foresight to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because especially when I heard the track, I don't. Did you program them drums or is that a loop?
No, I definitely chopped up a break and did my thing with that, which is what I usually do when I make beats. I start with the drums, and I've just been getting bored of kick, snare. So like I'm always myself to like do different things, and I got to shout out my boy Shiloh because I wasn't even thinking Ace when I made that beat, and he's like, "Send that to Ace," and everything kind of worked out with that one. What I like about it too is that it's just so different than anything in the underground right now because everything's so slow and like 5 BPM and like
Screwed up.
like 108, like
Yeah.
got a bit of energy, and I like that it's so different than anything else right now. And Ace killed it. I remember when I tracked the verse, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be something." So yeah, definitely like setting off the album with that type of joint. And actually, talking about me getting Coast Contra on it, looking at the new album, a lot of our features are up and comers. Like when I look down the list, like we definitely got some legends, but like the majority of them are like young energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, without saying any names right now. And I think that's dope. So
It's beautiful is what it is.
There is a whole new like resurgence of like I don't, because I got into it with somebody, as a matter of fact, it was you and Chris Crack, dope young MC that's coming out. We did a show with him last week. Amazing talent. We're talking about backpack rappers, and he was talking about how he didn't like being labeled a backpack rapper. And I told him, I said, from being my age, I'm not gonna say it. Fuck it, I'm 56. Okay, I said it. You happy?
I think it's just perspective.
But
that makes two of us.
Right. See, now I don't feel so bad. You know what I mean?
Didn't feel bad anyway.
Anyways, can I say what I'm gonna say? So I was talking to him about backpack rapping and whatever, and I said like that was like a thing. It was just a name that somebody gave the shit because the more creative side of rap at that time was people that were dressing different than looking different than the status quo. And the name kind of like backpack rapper became this thing when it was really, to me, was really more about the more creative side of hip hop that was moving in another direction. You know what I'm saying? And they just so happened to dress different, wear different clothes, and it kind of became a term, backpack rapper.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just meant something different for us in high school because to be honest, we were snobs. And it was like certain stuff that we wouldn't listen to. So we wouldn't even like really consider it anyway. So like backpack rapper to us was just somebody that was really into hip hop.
Right. But it was more creative is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was more on the creative side.
Straight away from the cookie cutter type thing.
Right. I don't know if you guys agree, but it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I have shit. I just had that question right in my head and it just went away. Oh, there we go. How do you think you guys would have fared if you guys had met, let's say late 80s?
Well, he would have been in a baby carriage.
Oh
No.
shit.
Hilarious.
That would have been 10 years old, 10 years old. But I was born in 79, so.
All right. Well, let's just say you were you were of age, and you know what I'm saying. You're oh shit.
Or just figuratively, if you would have had him like early in your crew when you first linked up.
When
with
you
Juice
just
Crew.
like you met him, you're still with Juice Crew, and you met him, and he's like, yeah, listen to my cassette tape.
Nothing would have happened the same way it happened now. I'm convinced. If you start arranging things, everything you do with both of our journeys has led up to this moment in whatever reason, and that's just the way it is. That's the way I look at it.
Very serendipitous.
Yeah.
Because everything that happened in hip hop led up to the creation of Marco Polo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He was looking at the DJ Premiers, the Pete Rocks, the Large Pros, and he was taking notes and figuring out what he was gonna do.
Right.
So if you put him back before them, who
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who he would be looking to.
Yeah, I needed
Right.
all those events to happen to be what I am and still working to become right now. So I agree with Ace. It's a good answer.
Yeah, damn good answer.
Can we talk a little bit about the 50 years? We've been talking a lot about just the I guess the resurgence of hip hop now. I mean, like, you got your Griseldas and your Coast Contra, just a lot of young, fresh energy that's really bringing back the essence.
Well, them niggas in Griselda are not young.
But the energy.
Oh,
the
yeah,
energy.
I got you.
So from Juice Crew to Coast Contra, like, sum up the 50 years in your opinion.
Jesus.
Hip hop has always been an ever changing. It's like an amoeba. Like it always changes shape. It takes new forms every couple of years. Something new sends it in another direction, and it's what has kept hip hop relevant on the national stage, on the world stage, because there's always a new blood coming out, doing something a little bit different, a little bit outside the box, and fans follow that new thing until the next thing happens. And so, you know, it's happened in waves, and those waves continue to happen, and they will continue to happen because it's such a creative music. You know, in a lot of cases, we make songs from nothing. We'll take a dusty record and, you know, a couple of sound effects and create an incredible song from it that connects to a younger audience. And as long as the music keeps evolving the way that it has evolved over the last 50 years, we're going to always be here. Like Kara said, we will be here forever.
Right. Do you find it like difficult to be relevant, or do you find do you find yourself trying to stay relevant or anything like that, or you just doing you, period?
Yeah, I don't chase the relevant box. I do what feels good, what sounds good,
Right.
and I let the chips fall where they may, because I've been fortunate because I've established a really loyal fan base over the last 25 years, I would say. I don't count the fan base, the Born to Roll and Back fan base, because that's not a loyal fan base. That's a fan base that just jumps on that. Oh, it's on the radio. I like that song. And as soon as you're not on the radio anymore, they on to the next person that's on the radio, and they don't look for the rest of your material. So a lot of those people, I have people that come to me to this day and say, "Yo, I love that song, Me and the Biz, man. You ever put any more records out after that? Like, what you doing now?"
Wow.
They literally don't know that. Like, I'm like, I say, "Yo, I've been putting out records for 30 years." Like, "Oh, for real? I didn't know." Oh, I gotta go look. I gotta go Google it. Like, they literally don't know.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
We obviously we knew we were going to interview you, but I've been kind of thinking like just about my line of questioning and things of that nature. I didn't really consider, I don't know if you guys have this experience as well. Like for me, music is the most just violent form of expression as far as like memories are concerned. So like I can hear a song and I can remember like a smell, you know, like from when I was a kid. And like when I hear your voice, it makes my stomach like really, really like,
shit.
Because I can smell dish soap, because I would wash dishes and the box would be on in the background and like your videos will be on. And I can like literally smell the dawn. And that's crazy as hell. Like
I'm glad you said it, because I thought you were gonna go in a whole nother direction.
like seriously, like
usually her ass is pretty fucking X-rated about shit.
As soon as you started talking and I heard your voice, I was like, shit, that's crazy. Like, you know, you can hear something, it will like just pull you back where you were a long ass time ago. And I mean, I get what you're saying about, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, hip hop fans are very fair weather, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. But like
there are those out there that are committed. Like I want to say committed, but because you know, like myself, like I have a friend who he refuses to listen to anything beyond 1995. I mean, literally refuses to listen to it unless it's an artist he knows from back in the day. And then some of them he won't listen to because they're trying to do, you know, shit from nowadays, you know what I mean, trying to switch over, and this doesn't work out that well. But just to piggyback real quick off of what you both said, Mario Diaz in the comments says, I remember hearing Born to Roll on the box out in Cali when I was 11 years old. That song went so hard. I got to see Ace here in Fort Collins. That's Fort Collins, Colorado. Shout out to Fort Collins, Colorado, being tuned in right now. Yeah. Do you get sick and tired of that shit? Like, you know, that you could be worried that like you're gonna be like 60 and they're like, hey, can you come out and do Born to Roll?
No, because nobody really asked that. Like,
really?
They don't ask for a specific song. That might be their intention when they book me. Of course, they're gonna want to hear that song based on where I'm booked. Like, we got a show coming up in San Diego, and based on that, I know there's certain records that I got to do when I go out there. I got to do Born to Roll, I got to do INC Ride, I got to do Sitting on Chrome.
Right.
But then there's a whole bunch of other music that we're going to get on for them besides those records. Yeah. Speaking
of other music, let's talk about Certified. Let's talk about that album. Let's get into, like, was that an idea, like, you both had like, hey, let's do a fucking album together. Let's do this shit. Because clearly you guys have worked together before. Have you guys done an actual album together, like a whole album?
Oh man, you really didn't do the research.
I mean, hey man, hey, listen, hold on real quick, bro. It's not that I didn't do the research. I'm asking the question for the people. Come on now, work with me.
You switched it up.
Yeah. Quick on my feet,
Well,
man.
The people are aware that Marco and I dropped an album back in 2018 called A Brooklyn Story.
Right.
And the lead single off that joint was called Brooklyn, featuring Smith and Wesson. A really beautiful video that we shot, that video is probably, what's that, like 3 million now? 3-4 million views on YouTube. And we followed that up with a couple of other singles, most notably a joint called Get Shot, which is actually it's actually beyond what Brooklyn is in terms of YouTube views. And we toured the world all the way up until the pandemic. We toured the world with that album, just touching the world with those songs. You definitely have to go back and check that album out. It came out in 2018. So this new album that we're working on, which features Certified, is our second album together.
Right.
And we haven't dropped it yet. It's coming out this year, though.
Oh, it's coming out this year. Okay, I thought it was coming out like the next week or two. But
Nah.
yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I'm excited about that one for real. I want to, because Certified got me going. I've seen a lot of DJs playing it, and just like the intro, the drums, everything about it is real high powered shit, and it's good to hear something like that again in music, you know, instead of all this melodic music that's out there now. When you guys step into a project like this, do you have like a not necessarily an end goal, but do you have a vision of like how you want it to play out? Because, you know, like back in the day, when you put an album out, it was always strategic. Okay, this is song number 1, this is song number 2. This has to have a certain flow to it. Did you guys have like a plan? Because now, you know, the way music is put out, you know, you can buy one song. You don't have to buy all of them. You know what I mean? You can kind of skip through and pick whatever you want instead of buying like the whole album. Did you guys have like a plan of how you were going to formulate this album, and like the single, what should be dropped first, and what, you know, how the shit should happen?
So generally the process has been, I just make a lot of beats, and ones that I think he'll like, I send, and we just kind of start a folder of beats that inspire him to write. And then once we get to a certain amount, he'll kind of like cut it off, and we'll just start knocking out songs, and it kind of starts that way. And then slowly Ace will kind of put it together. You know, like all the ingredients are there, and then at the end, it's like preparing the final meal and the track list and the order and the skits. So, in a nutshell, that's how it's been going. So,
okay.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So what?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, most definitely,
Amen.
most definitely. So even with that being said, so do you guys, do you base, when you drop an album, do you do it like just strictly online, or are you doing like hard copies?
No, we're doing everything. Vinyl, CD, cassettes. We could do 8 tracks if we could, but we're still fans of physical releases, and our fans love buying vinyl, and vinyl is a very important part of our touring. And I'm a vinyl head, so I love pressing vinyl. So those are definitely not just digital. So we do gamut.
And to piggyback off that a little bit, like I lived overseas for a couple of years, and I always found it like really amazing how people in Europe, they really take hip hop serious, like dead ass serious. Like I remember I was out there in like from 91 to 92, and I remember Public Enemy coming out there, and they did shows like it was a job. They would do a show in the morning, show in the afternoon, show in the evening. They did that shit for like 4 days straight and packed the house every time. And it always blew my mind. And like Master Ace was saying earlier, it just kind of blows your mind. Like here we are in the country that made hip hop what it is, and people here don't really appreciate it as much as people overseas. I know you see that, you know, when in your travels and doing shows and shit. Does that kind of baffle your mind a little bit at times?
It definitely baffles my mind. You said 91. Actually, my first time performing in the United Kingdom was in 91 with Public Enemy. I was on the London Arena show. I was one of the opening acts at the London Arena show,
Right.
and there was 25,000 people there, and
Jesus.
that was the biggest crowd that I had ever performed in front of. And I was, to my amazement, they actually knew a couple of my songs, and
Yeah.
they gave me mad love, and it was love that I hadn't seen doing shows back in the States, you
Right.
know. And it just kind of like made me, like maybe over here is where my bread is buttered. I need
Yeah.
to, serve this audience. You got to go where you got to go where you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
You got to go
Yeah.
where you want it. So I had a lot of love in the UK, and I found out later in Germany and other countries, Switzerland, Sweden, places like that. But I go where I'm wanted, man. I go where I'm in demand. That's what I
Right.
say.
Go where you want it. That's something
you
that a lot of
celebrate.
people should kind of live life by. You know what I'm saying? Go
Yeah.
where you want it, not where you think you want it or where you think you need to be.
Tolerated and shit.
Yeah, or yeah, tolerated. Which kind of brings me to like this whole. What do you think about breakdancing being brought into the Olympics? I think we're gonna get our asses handed to us for a few years because in Europe, well, them motherfuckers are doing shit that I ain't never said. Like never in my life would thought I would ever fucking see. And the U.S. team, they don't. They have watched Crazy Legs on Drink Champs, and he's talking about the USA team doesn't even have a facility. They don't have, like, they're working out at like LA Fitness and shit. They don't have, and you would think
Wow.
with all of the moguls and the money that's behind rap music and the culture itself, hip hop culture, you would think that somebody would do something. Like they don't have shit, and being from the country that borned this genre that we love, this culture that we love, we're about to get our asses handed to us in the Olympics. I firmly believe it. I've seen in France, these motherfuckers in France, the whole Asian community, like from the fucking Philippines to Korea to Japan,
They're gonna dominate.
Yeah.
They're gonna dominate.
Yeah. It's gonna take a while for the United States. You're gonna have to do some real catch up. I really believe that. And same with hip hop, because rap music, I mean, there's producers and rappers coming out of different countries that are doing some amazing shit. They're just taking it much more serious. Does that sometimes, deflate the air out of the tires, so to speak, a little bit? When you're working on shit and doing shit, you kind of feel like it's not going to be received as it should be received.
I don't focus on that. Because I know I have a fan base.
Right.
And so I know, if nothing else, that fan base will be there on the day that it drops. They're gonna buy it. When we book the shows, there's gonna be 400 or 500 of them in the club rocking with us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what matters. That's what matters.
Right.
The rest of it, I don't sit there thinking about, oh, it's not gonna get played on Hot 97 in New York or Power 105 in New York. They're not gonna bring me up to do the Breakfast Club or, for an interview. Like that kind of stuff I can't worry about. I gotta focus on the people that care.
Right. Makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. I was gonna add that question over to you, hand it off to you, Polo, but I see you over there shaking and nodding your head like in total agreement.
Our world. It's not our world. Like I don't listen to Hot 97 for the type of hip hop that inspires me. I'm not just saying it's whack or it's just not my thing. I don't think that's our lane. We know what our lane is, and we're very good at really just making music we want to hear. And I think when you do that and kind of ignore everything else, naturally people will gravitate towards you. There's people that love the foundation of what we do. So yeah, I agree with Ace.
I agree with it, you guys, as well. Hence the name of our show, Unwrap, because it's not, the show is not really about like all that other stuff or people not caring about it and everything. And unlike Drink Champs or whatever, and which I was going to ask about, have they asked either of you to be on Drink Champs at all?
Yeah, I've been talking to Effen for maybe a year now about it, just trying to get schedule wise. This is about schedule.
Yeah.
Because I gotta already be in. I have to be coming out to Miami to do something else. And then you know, we can put, but it's gonna happen at some point. It'll
I'm
happen
coming
at some point.
doing that with you if you do that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you got to take Polo with you. There's no way in
Yeah.
hell. Yeah.
We don't have to. And neither of us really drink. Are you here to drink?
Probably not. Actually, my plan, I told Effin that my plan was I was going to bring them smoothies. We were going to do healthy smoothies when I was up there.
That's
And I
hilarious.
told him,
That's what's
I was
up.
going and
Shout out.
ginger shots. We're going to do ginger shots.
Oh, yeah,
Shout out to that. I mean, I can relate. I just quit drinking. It's been, I don't even keep track of the time. It's been more than a few months, and it's probably one of the best things I could have ever done. Get myself back focused on music and back focused on the things that I need to be focused on. And that's why, like, I totally agree with the things you're saying about go where you're wanted and do the things that, you know, knowing your own lane and knowing what you do. And I applaud that, man, because that's really how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask another fucking question, and I'm still, you guys got to excuse me. I'm still like this. To me, this is like, you know, having a, you know, meeting Jackie Robinson or some shit to me. You know what I mean? This is a real honor for me, like for real. And I didn't know what to expect. And I'm happy everything is happening the way that it's happening, because I saw MC Shan on Drink Champs, just to bring that up real quick. And I'm not trying to shit on Shan or nothing like that. I think Shan is amazing. But to watch him, did you see that episode at all with him on Drink?
I saw parts of it.
He had, like, I don't know, about 4 or 5 different meltdowns. And I was just like, yeah, it just kind of blew my mind a little bit. And he's on Instagram and he just does a lot of crazy shit. But, you know, shout out to Shan, man. I've been trying to get him on the show as well. I'd love to talk to him, but he seems a little disenamored about hip hop and the culture and rap music and everything. And have you ever felt that kind of way about it? Like, just like, man, fuck this. You just woke up one morning like, I ain't, fuck this shit.
There was a time period after sitting on Chrome album where I thought I was not going to do music anymore. I just felt like, because New York had kind of turned its back on me a little bit. They didn't like, you know, this was like in the midst of the whole East versus West thing.
Oh.
So New York looked at me. I was being called a West Coast sellout because I had all of the success in Cali.
Wow.
And so it was like almost no love in New York, and they were kind of like, you know, he over there with them now. So I would see people downtown Brooklyn. They'd be like, "How long you out here?" I'm like, "What you talking about? I live out here."
Right.
They literally thought I moved to LA based on a video I shot in LA.
That's just fucking crazy.
So after that album didn't do what I thought it should have done, you know, based on the music that I put together, I just became a little disenchanted, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm gonna make up a resume, and I'm gonna start going to record labels and try to get the job at a label and see if I can start change the game from within. So that's what I started doing. I had a resume, but I was also shopping beats as well, and nothing was really happening. But it was about a 5-year, from 95 to I dropped Disposable Arts in 2001. That 6-year period was me kind of trying to figure out where I was going next. But at no point was I, you know, bitter or angry or, you know, anything like that. It was just more disenchanted. Like, this isn't the ride I thought it was going to be. So I'm gonna walk away.
Right. What? And speaking of Disposable Arts, because that's a hell of a name, that's a hell of an album. What was the catalyst, the springboard to get you back into music and to come out with the album, and especially the name? What was that name all about? Did that name have a different meaning for you? And
Yeah. So there was a couple of things at play there. The first thing was I had been working on the album for like 2 years because I went from Delicious Vinyl in LA to I got signed to Big Beat, which was Atlantic, distributed by Atlantic, back in New York. So I was trying my best to get back to New York so I could get on a New York label and put out another record. And I worked on the album for about 2 years, 98, 90, 97, 98, 99, right in there. No, actually it was like 96, 97. And they decided to shelf my album and not put it out and drop me from the label. So you took about 2 years worth of work that the label just decides to just not put it out.
Right.
And that showed me right there that the art that I made to them was disposable. You could just throw it in the garbage. So that's where the title kind of came from. But what made me want to even do the album, there was two things that happened. First thing was that in 2000 I did a tour in the UK. Speaking about the UK again, I went out to the UK and did 13 cities, I think.
Mhm.
And I went out there not expecting much, and to my surprise, the clubs were full of people that wanted to see me perform records. And I hadn't seen that enthusiasm in many years. Like, since Born to Roll, I hadn't really seen that or felt that. And they weren't just wanting to hear one song; they wanted to hear all the records.
Right.
And it just kind of like renewed my, it relit my fire to want to do another record. And so that was one of the big reasons. I came back from that tour saying, okay, I should do one more record just to say goodbye and go out on my own terms. And that was my plan. Do Disposable Arts was going to be my last album. I go out on my own terms.
Turned out to be completely different, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out to be
20 plus years extension on a career.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
I'm chuckling, I'm laughing because I feel like Ace you told me this, Ace. I don't know if you remember this. You said you wrote Nostalgia like it was gonna be your last song and you're done. So it's just like you've had a couple.
Yeah.
Like this is it. Last album. This is the last song, and then it's like here we are. How many albums since Disposable? A lot. I want to say almost 7, 8.
That's insane.
Like that.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And here you were like, this is my last hoorah, people. Thank you and good night. Yeah. And here you are, man. Shout out to that. Can we get a round of motherfucking applause for that shit? That's the kind of shit that you just can't. You can't make it up. You can't write a fictional book about it. You can't. This is some real life shit. And shout out to you, first of all, for even having the wherewithal and just the persistence, you know what I mean? Like to really want to, get back in it, because the game needs people like you, hip hop needs people like both of you guys to be totally transparent and honest. Me, myself, like it takes a lot for me to listen to the fucking radio. I have a son that makes music and everything. And I remember just like a month or so ago, and he's like, everybody's like, I just about to drop my album, you know what I mean? Because music, and it just made me think about like disposable arts, you know what I mean? Because right now everything is just so disposable, and careers are like
they're manufactured,
and they're quick. Like you could have a career for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, nobody knows who the fuck you are, and nobody cares.
And I think people are okay with that too, because they just want what they can get out of hip hop instead of embracing the culture. And I guess trying to leave an impression on it. They just want what they want.
Well, most definitely. And with that being said, do you think it's a hindrance or a good thing that the accessibility to make music and to do shit is there and is here now without having labels involved, without having all these external fingers and hands in the pot, so to speak? Do you find that a hindrance, or do you find it to be like, okay, this is dope shit, this is what motherfucker always wanted anyways? That's to both of you, by the way.
What's the question? To not have labels in our business when we create?
Yeah, or having the ability to just like,
just have a laptop and just do it.
Yeah, we just made a song, we can drop it without having to ask anybody. We ain't got to do shit. We can just do whatever in the fuck, and it'll be out there for the world to hear.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with all the new technology and stuff and streaming, and it's the freedom to move at a different algorithm and a different pace I think it's a positive thing. I'm happy to say that no labels ever had anything to do with what me and Ace create at all. Like that's just me and him. So thank God for that, which is really important. Things have changed so much. I feel like, me and Ace just stick to what we do. And I think if we do that, we don't really overthink and we don't overplan. We just literally, it's like, I want to give some fancy answer when we talk about our process, but it's really straightforward, man. We just make music we want to hear and listen to. Like there's no grandiose plan besides that, unless Ace has one I'm unaware of. I really think we just go and try and make the best music we can.
Fair
That's
I
enough.
what's
think
up.
I think it's a double-edged sword when you talk about just be everybody can just have a laptop and just go in their basement and make an album. Sure, that freedom is great. That creative freedom is great. But the one thing that we did have in the 90s, but when the labels were involved and there were A&Rs and some of those kind of slimy guys, but there were gatekeepers though, right?
Right.
There were gatekeepers, and those gatekeepers made sure that not just any level of quality music could make it to the masses, like because it was just now there's no bar. Like you can make the most terrible sounding song, EQ song with horrible raps and everything, and it could be on YouTube tomorrow. And you might mess around and get 500,000 views just because people are sending it to their friends because they're laughing at how terrible it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
some people that's success. But in the 90s, you had gatekeepers. You had people that were like, you take your demo up there and they listen to it and they go, nah, no.
Yeah.
right.
You
Yeah.
know, and at that and in those days, you got to remember, studios were $175 an hour sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So labels are not dropping that kind of money on just dude from the basement with his laptop to go in this, because that was the only way you could make music at that time. You had to go to a real studio, and
Yeah.
it was expensive. Marco used to work at the studio. They were charging, like, if you wanted to take a CD home, if you want to take a CD of your music that you worked on that day, how much was a CD, Marco?
Probably like $30-$40.
Right.
Not to mention the studio time that you
Not
put in
on
as
top
well.
of right. So they were like raping. They were just killing budgets.
Yeah.
Studio A had a SSL, it's $1 million console, and the minimum hourly rate to get in that room was $150. Then the engineer was
Right.
an hour, and then everything's inflated. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, so yeah, what Ace is saying, expand on that. It weeded off people that weren't serious because no
Right.
one's gonna go roll those dice with those numbers. If so someone that was doing it was either had a lot of bread or they like really believed in themselves. So yes,
That, yeah. And that to piggyback off that too, like even the equipment and everything back in the day was so fucking expensive. A person that could afford it either had bread or they were really, really fucking committed to the art.
Yeah, I never did it that way. I guess when I was there's still other positives. Like when things change from analog tape to Pro Tools, like that was a pro for me because now I could buy a laptop and record my first album in my apartment, with my student loan, buy a couple pieces of thing. But if I was like having to buy 2-inch tape and go to the studio, like it would have never happened. So some dances did work in my favor. But yes, the fact that everyone, I mean, they say 30,000 songs a day are uploaded to Spotify. Like it's just not possible to hear everything. They're never going to hear everything.
Yeah, they're never going to hear everything. That's just like,
what are the quality levels at 30,000 songs a day? Like it's
trash.
It's a mess now. It's a mess. Yeah. So have a sound like a fan base. It's like overwhelming for people looking for music, So
how do you think your careers would be different if you had social media back when you started?
I liked it better when we didn't.
Say word. Yeah, for real.
I can agree.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of incidents, and I don't want to use the word beefs, but issues that we had back in those days with different artists and crews and stuff like that never saw the light of day. The public never knew about, and you either never ran into the people and it just got squashed or just went away. But with social media, all that is logs on the fire, like,
right,
because now talking is back and forth every single day, somebody saying something, and it would have been a lot more people getting hurt in the 90s if it was social media back then, because it was definitely stuff going on, but it never really spilled over to that point. A lot of times it was just like, oh, I don't like them, or they don't like us, or whatever. But it was always kind of like, I think they don't like us, so I'm gonna stay on this side of the room. They're gonna stay on this side of the room. But if you add to that, oh, they was just talking shit on Twitter yesterday.
Right.
That escalates everything. So, yeah.
Pros and cons.
Okay.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Pros and cons. Hey, Polo, do you ever sit back? You're in the studio, and Master Ace is in there doing his thing. He's spitting bars. He's doing a verse or something. You ever sit back and go, "I'm fucking sitting here with Master Ace"?
Yeah, all
God
the time. All the time.
Nonsense.
So he's my
Nonsense.
family all the time. All the time. I count my blessings for the people I've met. Specifically, Ace has definitely changed my life and the trajectory of, my whole, where it was gonna go. And so, yeah, absolutely, I'll be like, damn, this is happening. We're on album 2. So yeah, I count my blessings. So absolutely, I do.
Do they in Canada? Do they say, "Look at the kid from Canada did it"?
It's so crazy. Someone pointed out to me the other day that I've been in New York it's more than half my life I've been in the United States now.
Nice.
Which is crazy how time flies. That's really what it's about, is that I don't even know where this time goes and how fast it moves. But yeah, I would like to think there's a few people back in Canada that look at my story and might catch a little bit of inspiration, because the odds were definitely against me to achieve some of the things I achieved being from Toronto at a time where it wasn't what it is now. We had no
Right.
Drake. We had underground artists that were really dope, but like Toronto now is like a world city for music because of Drake and Weeknd specifically.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I left, because back then it wasn't popping like that. Like, I had to leave. I had to literally come to New York to make it happen. And I'm very glad that I did.
Yeah, they say, man, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's fucking big facts. I was gonna ask, I'm going to ask Master Ace, like, do you ever find yourself sitting back and thinking, like, I can't believe I'm still doing this shit. I'm still here. I'm still doing this shit.
Yeah. I keep trying to figure out when it's gonna feel like, okay, enough is enough. I've already started to execute my exit strategy.
Well, you know what happened the last time you started to execute your exit strategy, right?
At that time, I was just really, trying to just stay in the music business and just get a job, basically. But
Right.
I've decided to expand my writing to theater. I just wrote a musical, a hip hop
Nice.
musical, and I also wrote a TV show. I got 3 episodes of a TV show. So
All right.
my exit strategy is to expand my writing into other areas, and so I won't have to worry about when that time presents itself, because hopefully I'll get busy enough with these other things, where it'll just kind of like happen organically.
Right.
Okay.
Polo, you got an exit plan, man? You don't look like you got an exit plan. You lounging right now real hard. There's no, you ain't thinking about an exit plan.
I just ate, and I'm definitely very relaxed right now. I do have an exit. Already started it myself, because I know that nothing lasts forever. So I see myself, and not see myself, I am into sound design now and making sounds for future producers to use in their music, and that's where I'm headed. Probably in the design of drum sounds and musical sounds that all producers can use in their beats, but also with working with companies that make some, like, I'm working with Akai that makes the MPCs, and being involved in development and like things better. And those are just things that I think I have a lot to offer in that world, in the nerdy technical sense. And yeah, I think it's actually perfect for me.
Right. That seems like it would be a natural progression and transition. But you said Akai, man, and I'm a native instruments person over here. I used to be
Rockwood native too. I was actually in talks with them to do something. So I got love for native instruments, and I love some of their stuff too. But that's what I'm saying, is that I'm connected with a lot of these amazing companies and always building with them on projects and ideas, and that would definitely be in my future. Yeah, working with MCs now, it's like got to be on my terms, in the sense that I got to vibe with the person. They got to be an actual good human, because I don't have.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to that. Can we get like a round of applause for that, man? That's how I feel about a lot of shit. I used to record people. I had a studio, all that shit, and I just got to a point like, man, if I can't rock with you like on a real serious level, if I can't get a vibe from you, or you know, like you said yourself, Polo, like you're a good person or something, I just can't.
I'm not giving you my energy.
I can't even make myself do the shit. But we
No,
have a huge fan in the building right now, and they have a question. We have a huge fan. He drove out here from the other side of Chicago just to sit in on this show and watch Master Ace and motherfucking Marco Polo.
Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy Jizzle, man. Much love to y'all, man. Master Ace and Marco Polo in the building. I just wanted to piggyback. I just wanted to touch back on what we're talking about now. Ace, I hear you talking about like the Get Out plan, and I hear what y'all were saying about like evolving in like music. I think it's crazy, and we've talked about it before about how like why in hip hop are legends, like why do we age out in hip hop? If we're talking about rock, their legends are 70 years old and we're praising them forever. In every other genre, but it's hip hop, and you see a guy that's 55 with a mic and you're like, you know, so it's like, why do we age out in hip hop? And do you think that's like changing right now, or you think that's still like the thing?
I think it really is up to the artist whether or not they feel like they're aging out. Like my exit strategy is not based on me feeling like I'm too old for it. It's just more like I want to do other stuff. Like I feel like my creativity isn't being fully put to use, and I could be doing more with my writing. So, and these are things that I've always wanted to do. Like even before music, I had thoughts of doing other things with my writing. So, you know, when you have these ideas and dreams when you're younger, and you know, music has a way of pulling you in and sucking you in to, you know, this kind of like continuous loop. You know, album, shows, new album, more shows, travel, shows, album, and at some point it's like a whirlwind, and you start just looking for the next album and the next tour. And you'll never get out of that loop because you're making money, you're making a living. You'll never get out of that loop. And I really want to do other things. So, but to answer your question, some people view it as, you know, an age thing because it was always, you know, hip hop was always a youth movement. It was the sound of the youth. When we were younger and it came out, we were all, you know, in our teens or younger. And so it's always been a youth movement. All the elders, all of our elders didn't understand it. They complained about it. They said it was too loud, too noisy. It wasn't real music. Didn't make any sense. It sounded like a bunch of talk. And so because it's a youth movement, that's really the reason why some people think that, you know, you should at some point hand it over to the next generation. But I think artists like myself, like Chuck D, like Ice Cube, I mean, there's artists out there that are defying that those norms and are proving that you can still, you know, Jay-Z, proving that you can still be a viable artist on north of 50 years old.
Yeah, I think the anonymity of the internet also plays a role in that because there's not a real focus like you were saying earlier before, you know, about the A&Rs and stuff like that. So there's really, you don't have to have your face out there like that, but eventually you'll have to be seen. But like, you know, by that time you already made some money or did whatever, you know what I mean? So you can still hide behind the internet, so to speak. You know, there are a lot of people out there that are, you know, of 50 and above, or even in their late 40s that are doing music that probably never even thought that they would be able to do music, you know, at the age that they are now, because it is kind of a young man sport, so to speak, or young person sport, so to speak. But because I got kids, and a lot of times you got to hear this song. This song here is so dope, and my son will be looking, even though he's a hip hop head, and he, you know, his little playlist and on his spare time is shit like the symphony and you know, songs of that nature. But he'll never admit it to me in my face. And, you know, when come on, you got to hear this song. You got to listen to this song. And he'll be like, yeah, there you go, playing. You must be in your feelings or something. You know what I mean? Here you are playing that shit again. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's kind of like, I can remember, you know, back in the day, like even to be a DJ, you had to carry somebody's records and shit before he'd even let you do a show. You know what I mean? And even to be in a studio, you had to have money. And if you didn't have money, you were at that studio all the time. You were a gopher. You were doing shit. You were cleaning the studio. You were before they even gave you a chance to even do anything. And even if they believed in you, that moment that they gave you, and it could have been only one fucking shot, you had to show and prove that you had the skill, you had the talent, and you weren't just there just to be there. Is that anything like that ever happened to you guys? Like being in that moment, having to work, do a bunch of dumb shit, and then finally they go, "Hey, Polo, you're up. Come here, kid. Show us what you got." Or Master Ace, come here. Let me see what you got.
I think both of us have similar stories. I mean, for me, I started interning at the cutting room, which is exactly what you were just describing, is gophering and making coffee and cleaning bathrooms and doing all types of shit. But if you remember the movie Coming to America, I was like Eddie Murphy in McDowell's, mopping the floor with a smile on my face. I was
happy to be there.
I was just so happy to be around, like going from Toronto to like being in a studio with like, you know, Quali and Mos Def and a bunch of people are recording. Like that was big for me. So I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to be in those rooms and be around people to give them my beats. And that's essentially what happened. And one day the beats went to the right people. Pumpkinhead, rest in peace, Master Ace. Things started to happen. So, yeah,
that's what's up.
For Ace, it was being in the studio and Marley saying, "Go spit a rap on this song."
I'm sure it was a little. Was it that simple? Like, hey, go drop that. Because I heard in stories that beginning part of the symphony that was an actual thing that he said. Like, you know, I don't give a fuck which one of y'all go first, but somebody got to do it, and nobody wanted to go first, and you were like, fuck, I'll do it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was his idea for me to go in the booth. I wasn't there to record. I was just there. I was just Craig G's ride over there.
Wow.
That's all I was. I was just his ride.
Wow.
And you end up being on probably one of the most iconic rap songs ever fucking made. Like, I mean, they're even, you know, people of all damn near all ages know that damn song. Like,
arguably the best verse.
What was the energy like in the studio?
The energy wasn't great because I found out all this out years later, right? But the original idea was it was supposed to be a duet with Kane and G-Rap. That was what it was supposed to be. That's what Marley asked them for. They agreed to do it. They had already done like a joint where they both rapped over Raw. They did like a
remix of Raw.
Not even it wasn't it never came out commercially. They just basically both rapped over Raw. Kane did new rhymes. G-Rap did some crazy rhyme, and Marley used to play it on the air. It was just something that he created and played on the air. Nobody else had it, like an exclusive. And so people went so crazy about that. He's like, "Yo, I need to do something for my album. I want y'all to do something like that for my album." So that was the plan. They were going there to do this duet joint that was going to be just the two of them back and forth. And Craig wanted to go. Craig asked Marley, could it be on the song? He heard them that they were doing it. He asked, could it be on the song? Marley asked if G-Rap and Kane, if they were cool with it. You know, he had just dropped, I think, Duck Alert or something like that. And they were like, yo, Craig is kind of dope. All right, yeah, Craig could be on it. So they agreed to put Craig on it. Yeah, so they agreed to put him on the joint. I was his ride because we were all together that day. And so I was just there to tag along. I wanted to hear this. I can't wait to hear this new song they was going to do.
Right.
But I found out years later that when Marley told me to go in the booth, that Kane and G-Rap kind of had a sidebar because they didn't know me. They didn't know me. And they were like, yo, why you putting this guy on the phone? You know, I mean on the song. They would call me Glasses back then. Why you putting Glasses on the joint? Like, it's supposed to be me and you. Now we got Craig on the joint. Now he throwing Glasses on it. Yo, let's just be out. And they said they was gonna go. They were gonna say they're going to the pizza shop and then just never come back.
Damn.
And by virtue of them hearing my verse before they snuck out to the pizza shop, they heard my verse and then they kind of had second thoughts and was like, yo, dude, Glasses kind of could rap a little bit. All right.
Wow.
We could leave him on there, and then so yeah, that's. But you know, they were not feeling the whole idea because it was supposed to be a duet and it turned into this other thing. But you know, look how history works.
That is fucking
That's some shit.
crazy. You're somebody's ride there. You ain't even thinking about the shit, and you're on the most iconic rap song ever fucking made.
I'm pretty sure you kept your composure while you were there, but when you got home that night, did you just lay on the floor and just scream?
No.
He's not a girl. He's not a girl.
No, there was no intention on keeping me on the song.
Wow.
It was really just because they were debating. G-Rap, Kane, and Craig were debating about who was going to go in the booth first. Nobody wanted to go first, and only because they were, you know, doing all this debating, he told me to go in there and just warm it up before they go in. So I went in and I did a verse, and then Craig went in, and everybody got loosened up, and everybody went and did their thing. But I think all along he was gonna, you know, delete my verse and just get what he went there for. And I believe that there was a conversation with Marley, Kane, and G-Rap about me, and they were like, "Yo, keep him on there. He's dope. Keep him on there."
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy to me because you guys did it like when you're in the process of doing something like that. Sometimes you know, like, oh shit, this is that one.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have that feeling like this is gonna go down in history as the baddest motherfucking rap song, crew song ever made? And the crazy thing is like you guys weren't even really a crew.
No, I can't speak for anybody else, but no, I didn't expect to even stay on the song. So for it to turn into what it turned into, I definitely did not see that coming at all.
Not even when they said, "Hey, we need to shoot a video for this." You didn't go, "Oh snap."
Well,
you know what I mean?
That was like a good sign. Like,
were you rapping? Were you rapping?
That was my first video.
Yeah, he's in the video. What are you talking about?
No, I mean like for real.
Like, was that like when he went first? Was that his first time in the booth?
Like, clearly, that's not his first time in the booth if he's spitting bars like that.
I mean, no.
I've been working with Marley for almost 2 years at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you hadn't been on anything prior to that outside of like just doing shit in the studio and just like, okay, yeah, let's,
yeah, demos. There was one joint that I recorded called Howard Park that he played on the air maybe twice, like kind of like how he played the G-Rap Kane thing. Because he would like do joints and not really mix them, but just like kind of throw them out, just play them as exclusive just to see what the reaction is. And so he played my joint on the radio like once or twice and never played it again. But you know, people in the neighborhood heard it and they were like, "Oh, that's you." So, but no, nothing commercially had come out on me until Symphony.
When you had INC, did you think about like, oh, I should probably put together a crew and do like a symphony type of joint?
No, I'm not one that likes to try to recreate something great. Like I just go into the next thing, try to make something new, something great that's new, not trying to duplicate something that was done before. Right. I'm just not that type. I'm not into the part twos or none of that. I ain't even like the idea of doing Symphony 2.
Yeah, I didn't particularly care for the Symphony 2 as much. I think like sometimes there's just like, you know, like there's certain songs you just can't fuck with. You know what I mean? Like the Marvin Gaye song or something. You just can't fuck with it. Polo, I'm gonna ask you, and be transparent, bro. Have you ever got it, Ace, and was like, you know, we got to do another symphony, bro?
I would hope I had never asked him to. And I'm king of dumb ideas, he'll tell you, but like that's one I definitely wouldn't. I know better than to say something like that. So
I had to ask it. You know what I'm saying? I had to ask.
Yeah, I'm not like anti doing part twos, but yeah, I would never. I agree with you. Leave that one alone. It's not. You're not going to top it. Just walk away slowly and just focus on
right. Yeah,
that's that.
If you could redo one song, what would it be?
One song of my own or somebody else's?
Either
or.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I've done some of my favorite songs. Like I did an ode to like EPMD Chill, not You Gots to Chill, but the Chill. And had got DOS effects on it. So I feel like I've done a couple of those just on some fan shit, just like to recreate something.
You did the electric relaxation joint too with that girl.
Trey J Davy on my first album did electric relaxation, but she sang on it, which was a cool, interesting flip. Yeah. But me and Ace have never redone someone's record like where I produced it and he like hashed it. We haven't done that, and I don't think that's something we're gonna do.
You guys don't strike me as the type.
I did. I did a joint based on Bonita Applebaum.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was called Juanita Estevan.
Yeah. Juanita Esteban. Was she black and Puerto Rican? Just asking.
Yeah.
That had to be. Yeah, Juanita Esteban.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So tell us, what does the future hold for Marco Polo and Master Ace? Moving forward, and also moving forward past the album that's going to be dropping this year.
Well,
video for Certified.
Yep.
That's what's up.
Video for Certified. This album is done. It's literally being mixed and mastered right now, so it's going to drop this year. So you'll have that. I'm hoping by the fall. More videos, more tours. Really just focusing on those things for now and just taking that energy and possibly doing more music until we both move on to other things. But right now we're rocking and rolling.
That's what's up.
I just finished auditions for my musical. We just closed auditions. We got a cast. We're doing a stage reading, 2 stage readings of the musical, where we're inviting potential investors down to see the show, hear the show in person, and then potentially give us enough money so that we can open this thing in London. That's my goal. My goal is to open in London next year sometime if we get the money. But yeah, that's in the near future. That's June 1st and 2nd. We're doing that. But yeah, and
would you take small investors?
I
got 5 on it.
I think the minimum investment is $25,000.
Sheesh, out of my range, son.
Well, you
Sorry.
I tried. I got a hot $25. You know what I'm saying? I might cover some coffee or something. You know what I mean?
Every little bit helps.
Yeah, every little bit helps. Yeah.
If I can ask you both, since we've been talking about, new now next, if you think back to when you first started, what you envisioned, maybe you didn't even think you could have a career in hip hop, but just kind of where you were then, and then your journey and where you are now, the type of artist that both of you have become. Are you what you envisioned when you began?
I'm not.
Yeah, okay. But don't everybody speak at once.
I was a different person when I was 21, 22. And I just hear some of the things I say on records, and there was just like no maturity there. And it took me a while to become the man that I am today, through trial and error, through mistakes, through just living life. I have enough life experience. I didn't have any life experience at 22, 23. But I have those things now, and it's fortunate because I've seen enough of my peers get really big success at 22, 23, make all this money, and literally blow through the entire thing. And at 43, struggling, like financially struggling. And I know they're thinking back about all that money they wasted on all these trucks and cars and houses and nonsense. And now they don't have health care and dental care. And they're struggling. And so you know, had I gotten, you know, the big bag of money at 23, I probably would have made some of the same mistakes. So it wasn't meant for me to get it then. It's meant for me to get it now.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally understand that. I went through a stage in my life where I got a little bag and I ran through that shit like it was nobody's business, and I got nothing to show for that shit now. And I think for a lot of these young artists right now, being that they're so quick to get a bag and, you know, they get a little money off the streaming, but then people want to start seeing them doing shows, and they get, you know, 50,000 here, 100,000 there, and they're just blowing through all that money, buying jewelry and cars and shit. And they'll find out more sooner than later, that they should have invested that money, kept that money, did something with it. In the shout out to Shannon Blunt, aka Skib Rock, in the comments. He wants to know any Chicago shows coming up soon.
And don't forget, Marco, you got to answer the question also.
No problem. I'll reply to the show thing. This is how it works. We're ready to rock when someone wants to bring us somewhere to rock. So if a Chicago promoter reaches out to book a show, we are ready to come to Chicago.
I may be able to make that happen. I know some people that know some people. Real shit. You may be able to make that happen. Actually, well, one of my guys from Six Rings Entertainment, White Jesus, and also Shadow Master from Subterraneans. You did Ace. You did a show with them as well. So I'll talk to those guys, man, and see if we can make that happen. That would be dope. Yeah. What do you think, Jizzo? What do you think, Jizzo? Think we could reach out to some people, Jizzo? Hey, Shadow Master got it, bro. Yeah. Can make that shit happen. Real talk.
Marco and I did the Hyde Park thing, the outdoor thing, about how many years ago was that, Marco? 2019?
Oh wow. Ricky was there. Yeah, no, I think it was like 3 years ago. I don't think it was 4.
3 years ago would have been 2020, and I don't think we did it in 2020.
You're right, man. Things be whizzing by, but yeah, that was dope. I was outside, right in the street, like a festival.
Yep, Hyde Park. I forgot what it was called, but it's a festival out there. I can't remember what they called it.
Could be a house music fest. Could be Hyde Park Fest. Yeah, Hyde Park Fest. Probably.
Put Jizzo on the mic real quick. Put Jizzo on the mic. You think we can reach out to Shadow Master and see if we can try to make something happen? Get these guys out here.
Yeah, man. You know what? We got a lot of people that are looking for that dope over here, man. There's a lot of mix of like hip hop, and I think like we were talking about, like there's, you know, like the young stuff going on, but everybody kind of, I think it's like switching right now to all the golden age and boom bap stuff and all that's coming back, man, especially with all the beats that you're making, Heat. So, you know, we got a good thing going on in Chicago, man. I'm excited, but I think we're definitely going to bring Master Ace and Marco Polo.
That's what's happening. Shannon Blunt says we need him at Sub T's. Most definitely. We're gonna I'll keep you guys in tune. Well, I'll keep Master Ace. I got your Instagram. I'll keep you in tune, bro. Like on some for real shit. We'll see if we can't make that fucking happen, because you know we know a few people out here. And shout out to Jizzo for throwing my little, you know, he threw my name in there real quick about, you know, Heat bringing that heat. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to that too as well. But yeah, we're gonna see what we can do, man. See if we can make that happen. I think that would be a dope ass show. I think the people will come out to see that shit, and it'll be where you're wanted. You know what I'm saying? On some real shit. Didn't you ask Polo a question that he seems to be evading?
Oh yeah.
Not evading. I'm just listening. But to answer that question, all I ever wanted as a producer was to be recognized by my elders and mentors to be dope. And I've definitely, as crazy as it sounds, achieved that. You know, the DJ Premiers, the Lord Finesses, the Pete Rocks, the Large Professors, whether I've worked with all of them or they look at me, gave me my props, it's kind of happened. And that's really all I ever wanted, was that recognition that I could hang with the greats and bring something to the table. And then to get the chance to team up with like Ace and work with a lot of other legends. I've produced tracks for Rakim and Big Daddy Kane, Cool G, Pharaoh, Talib, Scarface. Like, I'm blessed. And yeah, and I've never really decided to take it out of that world. Like I got my first major label placement last year with Loot, who's an artist on Dreamville, J. Cole's artist. So I might be doing more of that stuff. Who knows? I just never made it the priority to send beats to major labels. I've always worked on my own projects or work with Ace. So I don't know. I feel like I've succeeded in, to me, my own success, and I've achieved it.
That's what's up. So in closing, real quick, you guys want to go ahead and give everybody all the information that you could possibly give them, where they could find you, where they could find your websites, all of that shit. And by the way, we have some slow ass people, so you might want to say it slowly.
Maybe
spell it, right?
Yeah, spell it. Yeah, see, I don't even have to say it. Normally, I'll be telling motherfucker, I'll be like, yo, please say it slow and spell that shit. We got some slow ass people out here. But just for those slow ass people, could you tell everybody where they can find your music, where they can find the catalogs at, where they can get that fucking dope from, and how they can book you for shows, how they can do all of that shit?
So the music is available on all streaming platforms. Masta Ace and Marco Polo, the first album, A Brooklyn Story, which came out in 2018, is available now. You can go to YouTube and check out the videos. You can reach me on Twitter at Masta Ace, MASTAACE. I don't use that ER. I haven't used it for 30 years. MASTAACE. On Instagram, it's Masta Ace Pics, PICS. And Masta Ace Official is the Facebook page. That's it on my end.
Polo.
What's your website, Ace?
Oh, word. MastaAce.com for all your merch needs. T-shirts, hats, CDs, CMOS, whatever you want. I got it on the website.
By the way, I got hit in my DMs, and people, for some reason, because I posted your website, and for some reason, people think that I got to connect on the merch. They're like, help me get some of that merch. I said, motherfucker, he just on the show. I don't have access to the man's merch. But by the way, if you're going to get his merch. It's www.masterace.com. Go out there and get that shit. You know what I'm saying?
MASTAACE.
Yes, sir. See, I didn't even spell it out.
And it's my website, producer, drum kits, vinyl, beat tapes, MarcoPoloBeats.com, MarcoPoloBeats.com. And all my socials, Twitter, IG, Facebook, is at Marco Polo Beats, MarcoPoloBeats. And if you forget everything we said, just Google Marco Polo producer, and all of it will come up again, and you don't have to memorize it.
Yeah, and you can just watch the fucking show again. How about that?
That's true.
Yeah, so let's get some closing music. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said you could put both our names in Google anytime, and all the information will come up. We're very easy to find and reach, and I'd like to think both of us check our DMs and messages frequently. So if you want to book us for a show, you could reach out directly, and my email's on probably most of my pages. So, yeah,
that's what's happening. Y'all heard it right there, man.
I got a question, real quick.
Yes, sir.
What was that beat y'all was playing in the intro?
That would be your guys' beat right here. I will send it to you, sir.
I mess with that beat. That beat is nice.
I will send that to you.
Look at that.
I will send it to you. I will send that motherfucker to you tonight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Play it.
Yeah, and do what it as you will. And actually, if you decide to do something with it, because I have it broken down in a whole bunch of really goofy ways, but I'll send you the fucking stems, and you can do whatever you want, however you want, however you see fit. How about that?
You gonna play it again?
Yeah, we're gonna play it on out. Yeah, let's go with that out music. Nah, no cipher, not tonight. I don't wanna bust no skills on motherfuckers and have, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to put nobody to shame, son.
Oh my God.
Yo. You know what this is. Can I get some motherfucking bro? I need that. Now put some echo on my shit. Put some echo on my shit. Let's go. You know what this has been. This has been our rap, baby. We done did this shit again, goddammit. Mama, I hope you're proud. We had Masta Ace in the motherfucking building. We had Marco Polo in the motherfucking building. Y'all motherfuckers better fucking get tuned in and get tuned the fuck out. You know what this has been, man. You already heard right here, boy. This is on rap. Motherfucking, and we're out.